Now, I'd like to request Dr. Devasri Kakotimen to give a brief introduction of our keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we are fortunate enough to have Dr. Purabi Saikia among us as the keynote speaker. I am going to give a very brief introduction of her. Dr. Purabi Saikia is presently working as an associate professor in the Department of Botany, Institute of Science, Banaras Hindu University. She was formerly working as an assistant professor in the Department of Botany, Central University of Jharkhand, Ranchi. She has research interests in plant ecology, biodiversity conservation, soil ecology, and forestry. She has completed a number of projects from various funding agencies like IOEB, Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change, Government of India, DST, Government of India, then SSC, Ahmedabad, Government of India, SERB, Government of India. She has published more than 100 research papers in various prestigious journals. She has been awarded with various prestigious awards like Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, Vigyan Yuva Shanti Sarup Bhatnagar Award 2024 in Environmental Science by Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. Assam Saurav Award 2024, which is the second highest civilian award by Government of Assam in 2025. Fellow of the International Society of Environmental Botanists 2023 Award by International Society of Environmental Botanists, Lucknow. Fellow Award 2021 by the Society of Science of Climate Change and Sustainable Environment, New Delhi in 2022. Women Scientist Award 2020 by the Society of Science of Climate Change and Sustainable Environment. PHSS Foundation Young Women Leadership Award 2018-19 by Professor H.S. Srivastava Foundation of Science and Society, Lucknow in 2011. DBT Research Associate Award by DBT Government of India in 2011. Apart from this, she has memberships and recognitions from various prestigious societies from India and abroad. Like, she is the Executive Councillor of International Society of Environmental Botanists, Lucknow. She is a nominated member of Assessment Board by Secretary MOEFCC, Government of India. She is a life member of the prestigious the Society for Science of Climate Change and Sustainable Environment, New Delhi. She is a member of International Association for Water, Environment, Energy and Society, Bhopal. Global Forest Diversity Initiative, United States, and she is a member of prestigious IUCN Commission on Ecosystem Management, Southeast Asia. She is a life member of Indian Society for Geomatics, Dehradun. So this is only a few words for her to introduce her. but she is a hub of knowledge in present India on environment and sustainability resources and studies, and that is why we feel so privileged to have her among us today. So I would like to request Dr. Purabi Saikia Madam to please deliver her keynote speech. Madam, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Devasri. And whatever elaboration you had given, I don't feel that is necessary because I am among you only. And for the people of Assam, like I am better known as an alumni of Guwahati University Botany Department rather than a teacher of Banaras Hindu University. So I'm feeling so privileged to talk in front of my own people. That is like thank you to Dr. Devasri for giving me this opportunity, and special thanks to my teacher Dr. Nilakshi ma'am and my fellow friend Dr. Saurav for giving this opportunity. So without further delay, I'm going to give my talk on wild edible plants because I know this conference is although on like India's knowledge system and sustainable development goal. Uh, for your information, I am basically a forest ecologist working in different areas of ecology, population ecology, regeneration ecology. But this traditional knowledge system is basically this is not my cup of tea. But somehow because I am working on wild edible plant species, so I want to show you some of my findings gathered by different scholars in different PhD works. So without further delay, I just want to share my screen. Hope my slides are visible to you. So
Yes,
today
ma'am.
I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Your slide is
Yeah.
visible.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm audible also.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay. Okay. So today I'm here to talk on wild edible plants of Indian tropical forest and their role in achieving sustainable development goals. So actually somehow I tried to relate my findings of research with the major goal of this national seminar on Indian knowledge system and sustainable development. So, without further delay, I just want to give a small overview why, why, what is the status of wild plants of Indian forest. So, if we talk about India, we have around 800 edible plant species that is basically grown in wild and mainly consumed by tribal population. Here, tribal doesn't mean only the talking about the ST population. I am talking about basically people that is they are forest dependent and they are reside in rural areas. So wild plants and their parts are used by mostly our rural Indian population, around 85% population, as traditional medicine. In addition to that one, they use these wild edible plants as a dietary supplements and for livelihood security and socio-economic upliftment. And when it is about the indigenous community of both industrialized and developing countries, they basically use wild plants to fulfill their sustenance needs, and the mean use of wild plants is 120 species per community. Every community in an average use 120 different plant species for like as a wild animals. The indigenous community that reside in different parts of India have their own knowledge of wild plants and they have developed unique knowledge of their utilization. And when we are talking about the dependency over the wild plants, then it's quite high in India because forests are considered as high value commodity across the country. Basically, what happened when we talk about the Indian economy, we basically consider agriculture as the major source of economy because, as we all know, more than 70% population rely on agriculture for their day-to-day needs. But as a forest ecologist, roaming throughout the forest of the country, I found that forest is equally important for rural and tribal population, just like agriculture, because we are dependent on our forest for lot many sustenance need from fuel wood, from grazing activities for wild edibles, herbaceous medicines. So, in general, tribes used to live in close association with nature. We are aware, like tribal population always used to like to inhabit in areas which are near to the water bodies because their main mode of economy is agriculture and they always try to maintain a connection between man and the environment because tribal people are quite aware, like their survival is dependent over the forest. So, although they are dependent for livelihood over the forest, they are also responsible for their sustainable harvesting and maintenance. So, when we are talking about wild edible plants of our country, Indian herbal and medicinal plants have a vast repository of bioactive compounds and it is useful in combating many diseases. And more than 30,000 plant species are edible, of which around 7,000 species have been used for nourishment. And when we are talking about wild edible plants, mainly leafy vegetables, used to have high nutritional as well as medicinal value as an integral part of the daily diet of our indigenous population. When we are talking about wild edible plants, they are basically used as food to maintain good health because they are an important source of vitamins, minerals, and all other required nutrients. When we are talking about the common medicinal plants found in our Indian forest, then definitely we have to talk about Asparagus densiflorus, Andrographis paniculata, Smilus zelanica, Emidesmus indicus, and so many. So here in this graph, I just want to show you like this is a findings of one of our article published during 2020 in the Indian Journal of Traditional Knowledge. Here you can see like when it is about the medicinal plants, majority of the plants they used to bear the entire plants used to be edible. So that is we considered as AP plants bearing all edible parts. Then there are some plants they have edible leaves or leafy like tender shoots. So we consider that as a ideal and RT means edible roots or tubers, FL means edible fruits and leaves, LR means edible leaves and roots, LS means edible leaves and is and M is about miscellaneous edible part. So here you can see like Saikia silica is considered as a species herbaceous species whose entire plant body, not only about the leaf, flower, fruit, or something, its roots and everything is considered as edible, and that is considered as one of the important Indian wild edible. When we are talking about like edible leaves or leafy shoots, then Cynopodium album can be considered as one of the best example. When it is about tuber, as we all know, Curcuma longa, haldi, that is mostly used in majority of the traditional healers. Then Carica spinerum is example of edible fruits and leaves. Carica opaca is example of edible leaves and roots, and Spermococci articularis that is basically used for like edible leaves and seeds. So this is one of the study we have conducted. We are in the salt forest of Ranchi. This is the work conducted by my first PhD student, and out of the 73 edible plant species, 27 species contain 100% edible fruits. And out of that, 4 were shrubs, 18 were herbs, 5 ferns, fungi, and climbers. And when we considered about the consumable portion of this 19 species, they have this 19 species is leaf or leafy shoots, that is denoted with EL, and one of which is A3, 11 were shrubs, and 5 herbs, and 2 ferns, fungi, and climbers, including Lygodium and Marsilia. So here you can see the species richness of wild edible plants among different studied forest species. Here you can see like different colored circle is representing about the species richness of the wild edible plants. Here like big blue color circle is representing the areas having greater than 9 to 12 wild edible plant species. Simultaneously, these color codes like green is representing greater than 6 to 9 species of wild edible plants, yellow is greater than 3 to 6, and this purple color triangle is representing 0 to 3 species. Similarly, we have conducted another study by another PhD student of mine. She worked in the Palamu Tiger Reserve, and there we found like the overall species richness was quite high. We found like 232 different plant species. Why we are talking high? Because here the forests are dry deciduous, and dry deciduous forest never used to have species richness like the forest of Northeast India. So out of this 232 plant species, the utilization potential signifies the rich diversity as well as ecological and economic importance of this Palam Tiger Reserve. And when we talked about the species, then Sclerecia oleosa, that is basically locally called as kusum, it is the only species found in PTR that has the highest utilization potential and satisfying all seven different use categories. And when we are talking about the Trema tomentosum, that is basically locally known as Upsi, the plant species found in the tiger reserve that satisfied only one use. And we basically try to see the distribution of plant species among different use categories. Like maximum plant species were of miscellaneous use, like then 97% species has medicinal use, and followed by like edible cooked, edible raw, or like furniture, fuel, fooder, etc. And when we try to determine the overall utilization potential of the different plant species in PTR, we found that like majority of the species that is used for miscellaneous use, and then like furniture and as a building material, fuel wood, edible raw, edible cooked, medicinal, fooder, etc. So, based on the findings of this study in PTR, we have tried to determine different ethnobotanical indices, like following Trotter and Logan 1986, we determined the FIC value, and we found like furniture and building materials having the FIC value of 74%, edible cooked has 71%, edible raw has 71%, while miscellaneous has 0% informal consensus factor. Similarly, we also determined use value index, and there we found like 100% species have the miscellaneous use value, while this 19% species has like fuel value, 17% species has edible raw value, and this use value index was determined following Phillips and Gantry 1993. Similarly, we have determined another important ethnobotanical index that is about fidelity level, and we found like majority of the species of miscellaneous use, they have the like 232 different species has the maximum utilization as a miscellaneous use, and this fidelity value was determined using the formula given by Friedman et al. 1986. So in addition to that one, we have tried to determine like how many different plant species are used in traditional medicine, especially for women health. And there we found like we have recorded 147 different plant species used in medicinal purpose belonging to 129 genera and 56 families. And of these, 73 were trees, 29 were shrubs, and while 45 were herbs. And out of these total 147 medicinal plant species, 48 plant species are specially used by local women for a range of gynecological disorder, including menstrual pain, abortion, or as a contraceptives. And we have tried to show you the important plant species used for abortion in this colorful diagram, like Cynodon dactylon, then Dolichos trilobus, Bombay saiba. These are the plant species basically used for abortion. Similarly, we have tried to show you different species used for licornia, menorrhagia, and menstrual. So, when we are talking about the overall plant species of Palamu Tiger Reserve, you can see like majority of the species have edible like leaves and young shoots. Then stems and barks are used for medicinal purposes. Then flowers and fruits. Then roots and tubers, and small number of species, that is 105 different species, has the seeds which has medicinal. So here is some photograph of the commonly used medicinal plants. So these are again some of the important medicinal plants found in the sal forest of Ranchi, like Mesospira, that is one of the major like promising invasive coming in the dry deciduous forest. In addition to that, asparagus, Azadiracta, Heliotropium, and Erythema heterophylla, and Aegon marvelous. So when it is about the traditional medicine, then we have different indigenous ways to fight against various diseases. And it is well understood during the COVID-19 period because Ministry of Ayush has taken a very active role when this modern medicine were unable to defeat the COVID-19 like pandemic. In that case, medicinal plants can provide a cost-effective therapeutic option to curb the severity of any human diseases with human causes. And if we do the regular consumption of powerful Ayurvedic herbs that ultimately boost the immunity of our body, which is considered the foremost requirement to keep away major communicable diseases actively. And as we all know, during COVID-19, we were working for immunity boost, like working on to boost our immunity rather than the medicine to defeat the COVID-19. As we know, consuming kara, that is herbal tea or decoction of Pinospora cordifolia, that is giloy, it was very popular during COVID-19. And then Ossimum tebuliflorum, that is tulsi, black pepper, haldi, and ginger, that basically used to improve the immunity and against any kind of viruses. Ayurveda experts have stressed that medicinal herbs such as amla, giloy, neem, you see, they are helpful in building, basically strengthening the immunity to improve the overall immunity of the plant, human body. And here you can see, like this is Pinospora cordifolia. It is very common in the forest of dry deciduous forest. In addition to that one, Cynopodium alba, Amaranthus viridis, that is our common in our Assamese called like Zinbin Sak and Kutorasa. It is quite commonly used by the tribal population of this central as well as East Indian part of our country. So when we are talking about the common immunobooster plants of our country, then definitely we have to talk about Saikia chiriaca, that is belonging to the Jacianaceae family, and it basically used as a immune booster. In India, it has been used for malaria when combined with the seeds of Cisalpinia bondius. In addition to that one, Sinopodium alba, it is quite another popular edible herbs. It is an unique vegetable known for its digestion aiding properties and used to detox body. Then Inospora, the most popular, like we can say nowadays used in Ayurveda, that is giloy. Different parts, plant parts, including root, stem, and whole plants used for the preparation of herbal medicine, and it is again basically used to boost the immune system. Then another important one is Centella asiatica. It's very common in our sites, Northeast India, right? So it's basically recommended for the treatment of various skin disorders such as leprosy, lupus, varicose ulcer, eczema, psoriasis, diarrhea, fever, amenorrhea, diseases of the female genitourinary tract, and also for relieving anxiety, improving cognition, and mental health. In addition to that, Amaranthus viridis, this is one of the most popular leafy vegetable, or we can say white edible. It is again used for different, it is used in different healing practices. Then Phyllanthus indica, amla, we all are aware about, right? And amla is used to treat skin disorder, respiratory infection, and premature aging, and also used for diarrhea, dysentery, and has different therapeutic properties. In addition to that, Andropathis paniculata, right? Ketone bitter. So it is important plant species in Ayurvedic medicine because it is used almost, it is quite prominent around 26 Ayurvedic formulation. It is an annual herb possessing immense therapeutic uses, and it is used to relieve body heat in fever, and it also possesses anti-typhoid, anti-snake venom, or anti-HIV, anti-malaria, anti-fertility, anti-inflammatory properties. Then Spirus gelatita, which is also common here in our like northeastern hill forest. It is used as an alternate source of sopachini, which is one among the top 20 highly traded medicinal plants in our country. It grows in hilly areas under moist evergreen and mixed deciduous forest from 200 to 1000 meter altitude. Also grows well in moist deciduous and semi-evergreen forest and also in the plains. So it is basically considered as a remedy for syphilis, rheumatism, skin diseases, and pyorrhea, gonorrhea, so many other diseases. And stem of this particular plant used as toothbrush, which is considered as useful against toothache. It is quite common in the markets of this north and like eastern India. Then this arbor this, that is nitrosville, because it's a very popular medicine basically for its anti-malarial properties. In addition to that one, it is also used as antiviral, antifungal, antipyretic, and then anthelmintic, antioxidant, and it has lot many other properties. And when we talk about the natural distribution, in India it grows in outer Himalayas and it is found in tracts of Jammu and Kashmir, Nepal to east of Assam, Bengal, Tripura, extended throughout the central region of Godavari in the south. Actually, in Assam, when I was in Assam, at that time I used to saw this like as an ornamental plant in the home gardens of Assamese people. But when I visited different forest tracts of MP, Jharkhand, I found like its huge population used to grow naturally here in the natural forest. Then Olartina pubescens, it is actually there in the Ayushyan Grandis also as a list concern. It is one of the important Indian medicinal plant that has anti-dysenteric, anti-diarrheal, and anti-amoebic properties. And in Ayurveda, it is used for the treatment of amoebic dysentery, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, bleeding piles, and liver disorder. And this The root boiled in milk is basically applied against snake bite and it is used in the treatment of venereal diseases. The seed or bark of this particular plants are sometimes adulterated with Riccia tinctoria due to their antibacterial activity. Another important tree species that is about Pterocarpus marsupium. It is another near threatened IUCN red listed tree species and it is extensively used for the treatment of diabetes, obesity, diarrhea, vitiligo, psoriasis, etc. And the bark is also used for bleeding and toothache. And leaves are often applied externally as a remedy for skin diseases. This tree species is very common in the dry deciduous forest of Jharkhand, like Chhattisgarh, Odisha, as well as Madhya Pradesh. And the most common use in modern herbal medicine include helping support the body's natural ability to manage and regulate blood sugar. Another important, because I am talking about those medicinal plant species which I have been recorded various sampling and they are in the different forest of this central as well as eastern India. This is Gloriosa superba. Another illusion that this concern herbaceous species. It is in great demand for medicinal use. So it is nowadays started farming there in our Indian farms. But most plant material sold into the pharmaceutical trade comes from wild. So it is basically used traditionally for the treatment of bruises, chronic ulcers, hemorrhoids, cancer, and also employed as a tonic and purgative. So this was about the major wild edibles or wild medicinal plants found in our Indian forest. But the point is like our wild edible plants are facing different challenges for their further survival. When we are talking about the major challenges faced by these wild edibles, definitely we have to talk about the fuel collection, timber felling, mining, herbivory. Here, herbivory doesn't mean insect herbivory. I am also talking about the grazing activity, not only by our wildlife, it's also about our like livestock. Then fire. When it is about fire, we all are aware. Like in India, majority of the forest fire are anthropogenic in origin. And in this region, although in our northeast or Himalayan forest, basically considered shifting cultivation a major cause of forest fire, but in the central as well as in eastern part of India, this fire, like anthropogenic fire, used used to be done basically for the collection of anti-apis. And when we are talking about anti-apis, we have to definitely talk about mohua flower, which is basically used for the traditional alcoholic beverage preparation. And as you all know, the flower of this what is called mohua is light creamy in color, white to creamy in color. So when it's fall there in the forest floor, it is quite difficult to like collect the flowers. So in that case, when mohua used to flower, basically it's in this central, northern, and eastern part of our country in dry deciduous condition, where forest floor is full of litters. They used to fire the litters just for the collection of mohua flower because cream color flower used to be so visible there in the black background. And as you all know, majority of the anthropogenic fires are uncontrolled because they hardly used to do control. Then in the collection, I have already mentioned. Then invasive plant species. Here are some of the photographic plates collected from the forest of Jharkhand as well as MP. In addition to that one, livestock grazing and mining activities, there are rock mining, sand mining, soil mining, everything are very prominent. In addition to that, Indian forests are invaded by different invasives in different manners like Ageratum conizoids, Promolina odorata, Mesosphaerum suavolens, Imperata solitata, Mimosa pudica, Parthenium staurophorus, and Lantana camara. These are like very common invasive plants found in the forest of dry deciduous forest of our country. Here I just want to show you another important disturbances about the Fragmentera capitata. This is a parasite belonging to the family of Lorenthaceae. This is another major cause of forest degradation in this dry deciduous forest. In addition to that, these are some of the common insects very prominent in dry deciduous Indian forest. So here I want to conclude my talk. As you know, a variety of medicinal plants are found in Indian forest, but unscientific collection, poor knowledge, and the unavailability of proper markets are the reason for the limited economic benefits of local benefits to the local people. Though we all are aware the scope is unlimited. And when we're talking about the diversity of wild edible plants in Indian forest, it is depleting due to lots of reasons, as I mentioned, like overexploitation, unsustainable harvesting for food and medicinal herbs, as well as due to various other biotic interferences, including livestock grazing, insect herbivory, anthropogenic fire, etc. And it is necessary to preserve these irreplaceable plant species of great economic as well as ecological or social significance and harvest them sustainably to the local needs. And we have to give more focus to place on the conservation measures for such important plant species to protect them from further depletion. Therefore, there is an urgent need to conserve these valuable wild edible plants and use them in a sustainable manner to ensure future demand of these wild edible plants. So, I want to conclude my talk with the WHO's One Health initiative. It basically seeks to promote optimal health for people, animal, and the environment. That is actually about the One Health concept, and it basically advocates managing the issues of human health in relation to the environment and biodiversity. So it has three main objectives: combating zoonotics, ensuring food safety, and fighting antibiotic resistance. So with this word, I want to thank you, the organizer, for conducting this timely conference and giving me the opportunity to somehow present my some of part of my works done by various PhD scholars in Phone. So thank you so much, Dr. Devasri.
Hello, Dr. Purabi, Saikia. So, I am from Sunday Activity. So, it's very nice presentation. So, IDPS audience, so do you have any query about the topic? So, it will be highly appreciated because it is a very good topic, Susan, for today's seminar. So, may I have somebody, if you want something from student? If anybody okay, so then nobody is asking question. So I have to just ask you a question. So you talked about Lictantis arborescens. Actually, we are using it as a ornamental, yes, but today is the first case that it is mentioned in many times. Sometimes in our that we sometimes we know that it is used the leaf is to give some things that the flowers are sweet and but such type of ethnobotanical information. When I see it and you say that they are luxuriantly grow in the forest, that appreciated me that whenever we are using one way we are ornamental, but it has very useful for the other people. So this holistic work will be do more. for inventarization of our drug discovery. So it is one of the information I have gathered, and other things I have seen that though they are very familiar to us, but we are not we don't know. But these informations you have shared us, so that I think that it will be very much useful for all the people. So therefore, I'm following the dysentery. This is using dysentery. So I just want to know that apart from dysentery, is it used in any other diseases like
Actually, when it was working there with the people, local people of the Ranchi as well as for Palam Tiger Reserve, we found like this Colardina antidysentrica. Earlier it was called antidysentrica, and now ICBN has changed it to like pubescence. So Colardina pubescence is particularly used for like dysentery and diarrhea. In addition to that, here people use like decoction along with the milk for against snake bite. So this is another like unique information we have gathered here from the people of Jharkhand. Like they have like another mode of medicinal uses. So that is why we have tried to determine various ethnobotanical indices. And today I have given because as you all are aware, like I have started my career from forest of Arunachal. So I have not many information like how this our northeastern people use different plant species for different purposes. But here, like we gather different set of information which is mode of utilization by our tribal people of the Himalayan range and the people that is reside there in that area.
so I think that if you do that for example, what I if today that then it will be more fruitful and we get knowledge about it. Because for your insightful talk and also for it is our privilege and we are proud of you. So you have given your time.
Thank you so much.
Schedule.
We are trained by you only. We are trained by you only, and credit goes to you. And thank you to you making products like us. And I'm really feeling so happy. Like I'm sitting in front of my teacher, and my teacher is appreciating me. Once she used to scold in the class, and today she is appreciating me. Thank you so much. I'm feeling so blessed.
This is actually we are also proud of you. No? So with this, I so want to say something about.
Yes. Purabi, actually, I am just roaming around the college because lots of online and we can Yes. Yes, but thank you so much from the core of my heart that you have accepted and you have delivered such a beautiful lectures, and I hope everyone has enjoyed your lecture and my students especially have learned and has inspired from your talk. So thank you so much, Purabhi.
Okay, so I'm reading here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let us speak.
Okay.